Group A Championship today on Tuesday, and we have got 9 people on the grid today here at Laguna, Seca. So this is race 7 of the season. We have, obviously as normal, we have random grids. We've got Andy starting on random grid pole position here in the Datsun. We've got Toss a Bad Robot alongside in the Ford. Who's going to get off the line quickest? It's a very, very slow for Bad Robot. Bad Robot does not get off the line. Well, it's actually me in the BMW who now pulls alongside Datsun as they go into turn 1. And he can't quite do it. The speed, the straight line speed, that's very, very quick indeed. So, Andy maintains the lead. Lee in second in the BMW after, I think, a podium position last time out at Sugo. And we've got Mark, and we have got Josh battling out for third, and Josh has already got the third position. We didn't see where he started, but that's a really good place for him to be in at this stage of the race. And Andy still leads in this stage, but he's being hunted down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 BMW. Lee gets back up the inside. Lee maintains second place, I should say, as Josh tries to get it. Josh tries to cut back up the inside. He might have it. They're alongside as they head up towards the right-hander. And yes, Josh has it. Josh has got wide. Josh has lost it on his own. He goes into the gravel and drops second, third, fourth, fifth place. And Andy maintains that lead. Fantastic start from Andy so far in the Datsun. That thing looks an absolute pig to drive in the slow corners, but he's keeping on top of it so far. And in the background, Graham and Mark get side by side. Now, of course, Graham wants to try and capitalise and take some positions on Josh, but Josh is now back up to the third place, courtesy of that battling between Graham and Mark. And it really is tight here. We've got Lewis in sixth place, who had a good run of a race of podium positions at Long Beach earlier on the season. There's a spin out there. Graham's been taken out by Mark, I think that was. I'm sure unintentional, but Mark was on the inside. Didn't really give space. It's a bit difficult to see. We'd have to see that on the replay. Andy, though, back out in the lead, maintaining the lead. Lee in second, Josh in third, and of course, Josh's main rival Graham, all the way down to fifth now. Douglas in a solid fourth place, doing a good job. Lee's made a mistake coming out of the right-hander there. Josh takes second position, and now he's going to work towards hunting down Andy, who would desperately love to win this race, but there is a long way to go, and that BMW has looked fast so far. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for the Datsun to hold on to this. And Josh already immediately strikes with the cutback, just as he tried on Lee, I think it was, on lap 1. And Josh overcooked it again! Josh has overcooked it for the second lap in succession, but he's done it worse this time. He's off in a big way, and he's dropping down to fifth place again. And Andy once more maintains that lead with pressure from Lee. So Lee in that lovely pastel blue BMW doing a real solid job here. Dugamus in third, as I say that, he's run off wide and he's into the sand. And now Graham's back up to third place. What a topsy-turvy race so far. So the 2 championship leaders are swapping positions hand over fist, and we've now got Graham back up to third place. And for the lead, it looks like Lee's getting alongside. No, he couldn't quite do it. Not straight line speed in that Datsun. And Josh is now trailing a long way back in fifth place. He just crosses the start-finish line as Andy goes into turn 1. So this is looking good for one of these guys potentially to take their first victory of the season. I don't think Graham's close enough. He's certainly not close enough at the moment. Many car lengths back. And we could see a first win for either Andy or Lee here. Lee takes the inside and he takes the race lead, but will Andy go and slingshot back alongside with that really high speed Datsun in a straight line? It is so fast. Listen to it like a, as we said at the previous round, it sounds like a V8 supercar or a Corvette or something. Of course, all that battling is going to give Graham a chance to catch back up. And Josh has fallen even further back. Josh now down to his lowest position that we've seen in a long time, down in 7th, and Diesel ahead of him. Diesel and Bad Robot fighting over 8th and 9th. Diesel having a good run, not the quickest here, but he's doing a good solid job as he always does. And Lee maintains that lead from Andy at the moment from Graham. Graham is hunting them down though, as they head towards the last couple of corners of this lap. And Andy noticeably heavier on fuel actually than these 2 BMW guys, so I don't know whether that's because Datsun uses a lot more fuel or whether he's made a bit of a mistake with the setup. But the two BMWs here, he's got considerably less fuel in the tank, and now Graham is going to have Andy in his sights. Lee is making hay while the sun shines there, and he'll be trying to break out some kind of lead, not so quick down the straights but through these twisty bits. And Graham is really hunting down, he's really on the case now as he comes up behind Andy. You can see how that long tail on that Datsun does not help in these slow corners. It's an absolute monster down the straights, but Graham makes a bit of a mistake, cuts across the gravel there, and that's not going to do him any favours. But Graham should be on for a good result with this one if he can hold it together. He may be on the second, he may even try and hold down Lee for the win, but Lee doing a fantastic job at the moment out front. And Graham, one of the quickest laps. Graham's lost it! Oh, again, topsy-turvy race for the championship contenders. Graham is going to lose a position to Mark. Mark moves up to third place. We didn't see much of Mark after he had the collision with Graham earlier on in the race. But Mark back up to the podium position, and that opportunity for Graham to make some inroads into Josh's lead has now been undone somewhat. Oz having a good run in sixth place actually. That Porsche not perhaps too easy either on this tight twisty circuit. Josh is a little way behind, but he'll try and hunt him back down. And Bad Robot has got past Diesel for 8th place. But back out in front it is Lee by a long shot. Andy maintains second position with that absolute rocket ship of a car at the straights, and he may well be in for a really good finish here. Andy don't throw it all away, very deep into turn one there, gathers it back together. Mark and Graham are going to battle out for this third place. Hopefully they'll keep it clean as they try and fight out, and Douglas having quite a quiet race but a good race nonetheless. 5th place at the moment, so keep up the good work Douglas, fantastic. Smart looking dark green, and Andy's made a big mistake though. Andy drops from 2nd to 4th place. But he's going to try and get back up alongside Graham. They head down towards the right hander. He can't quite do it. He's going to try and do it on the brakes. He has a go, but we know that car's not so easy to stop. The BMW is much easier to get stopped, and I think Graham will hold on to that position now. So that's good from Graham's perspective, because that puts Graham up to a podium position once more. Quite a long way off getting the win, but he could get 2nd place off of Mark potentially. Andy runs into the back of Graham, thankfully doesn't ruin Graham's race, but that has knocked him over the gravel there. And Josh is still floundering down in 7th place at the moment, not making those inroads like we hope, for his sake at least, as Oz slams into the tyre barrier, so that makes up one position for Josh straight away. So he's going to be catching back up towards the lead pack. Dugamus' next target, some 5 seconds up the road. Graham's made another error. Oh, Graham! And now Graham's only 1 place ahead of Josh. This race is just so up and down, isn't it? But out in front it is Lee, and Mark's having a really good run as well. After that collision early on in the race, he's now back up to a solid podium, and he looks pretty comfortable in the car. Compared to a lot of these guys, so that's good for Mark. Andy maintaining 3rd position, but now being hounded by Douglas, who is hungry for yet another podium position. They both run it a little bit wide. Douglas does it worse though, and Andy will maintain that 3rd position for the time being, because that was a big off. And in the background we've got Graham in 5th, we've got Josh in 6th. Well, we'll have to wait to see what happens, but unfortunate string of events there for both of the championship leaders. And Graham runs wide again. There's contact. Andy and Dugamus make contact, and Graham gets back up to 3rd position, but Josh is right behind them. And so now we've got Lee, Mark spun. Mark is now spun, so that's going to give Graham an opportunity to catch up. And then we've got Josh in the 2nd of the white, red, blue BMW's now back up to 4th place after being down in 7th or 8th earlier on in the race. And this race just is full of surprises at the moment. We've got Andy in 5th, we've got Oz Phillips in 6th, so he's recovered well after that tyre wall collision. And Douglas, the big loser out of that, down in 7th. But there is nothing that can be taken away from this man Lee at the moment, who is in 1st place and has a 10-second lead over Mark. Well, what a fine way to win his first race if he can do it. We haven't got too much longer to go, I don't think, in this one. And Graham and Josh battling it out again there. so we'll go on board with Josh, the championship leader, as he looks to chase down Graham. They go into the right hander. They've got Mark not far ahead of them. Mark was doing a really good job earlier, but just seems to be struggling with grip in the later stages of this race, and now the three of them are separated by no distance at all. It's just over a second between the three of them. Josh, his car snaps as he leaves the left-hander bend there, and almost loses the back end, keeps it going, and now the three of them are really tight together, these three cars all at the same time, and Josh tries to monster on the brakes, thinks better of it. They go in, status quo. Graham almost has a little look on Mark, but actually ends up being more of a mistake, and now Josh has got an opportunity to have a look, but there's no room as they head into the left-hander, down into the right-hander before the final hairpin bend. Will anyone be able to make a move in here? Josh is thinking about it. Graham's playing sensible at this stage. Graham decides better of it. Looks like he's got better exit than Mark though, and they're all going to tow each other up the start-finish straight now. And Graham goes to the inside of Mark. There's going to be contact. It's impossible not to. Graham ends up worse off. Graham smacks into the concrete barrier. And to be honest, you know, it's just so dangerous to try and pull a move there, particularly in these cars, and discretion probably would have been the better part of valour on that occasion, as Graham's found out to his detriment, unfortunately. But the issue was kind of forced there, wasn't it? He kind of had to make that move, try and make that move. He had Josh bearing down on him. Now Josh is having to go in second place to the two teammate livery. Josh is off! Josh is off again! He slams off into the wall, and I don't think there was any assistance from Mark there. And this race just yo-yos once more, and we end up with Josh falling down the order, and he's going to lose another place to Andy. Yes, Datsun comes from. Look at that, Datsun just dipping under the braking there, and now Graham has got past Mark as well. So we're now in a position where Graham is making up points on Josh, which is what he needs to do. But Mark gets back ahead, great move, but Mark runs a little bit wide. I don't think there was contact. I hope there wasn't contact. These guys really made contact earlier on in the race. I think the end of Mark off second, it's probably Mark lag going on for him. That might just be a problem all round the game actually, because Graham was lagging a little bit there. But Graham is up to second, Mark third, Andy fourth. Josh putting him under pressure now though for that fourth W championship leader, bearing down Andy. And you've got to think it'll be a matter of time as he tries on the brakes. There's contact. Oh, Josh, keep a cool head, mate. If you're going to get back up towards the front, you need to keep that head very cool indeed and not make any silly mistakes. And the Datsun runs wide, and that is all the opportunity that Josh needed, and through he goes. I have to do this though. I have to go on board with Datsun, because we listened to this at Long Beach, and just the sound of this engine is absolutely phenomenal. And look at the fighting Andy's having to do with this car. And Andy, come on mate, just hold it together for a couple more laps, because this will be a good result nonetheless in this car. It's not easy to drive, and but out in front is our race leader in the pastel blue BMW. He's got no problems at the moment. Graham is faster, Graham is considerably faster, but it's not likely to be enough at this stage in the race as we're heading into the closing stages. Mark in third, Josh a fair bit further back, but in a fairly comfortable fourth place. Andy in fifth, Oz Phillips sixth. We haven't said much about Diesel, but Diesel's managed to get back up to seventh position, which is a remarkable result. So great stuff, Diesel. Keep it together and see if you can get it to the line. You're ahead of Bad Robot, who's often got a bit of pace in him, so it's great if you can outdo him in this race. And same with Douglas, who's also been very good in this championship so far. And there is our race leader. And Dumas is spun again, just a couple of corners before the end.